Okay, well it turns out I'm in a very musical / teaching mood today. And the thing is that I am going to teach you some boring music stuff. Yay, boring stuff. Now you may already know this stuff because I don't know, every basic elementary and high school music class teaches it, but I can tell you that I forgot it completely. So I'm assuming you're as forgetful as me, and you forgot. And you know, it's good to refresh yourself, I guess. But yeah, I didn't realize the importance of it until a little over a year ago. But now I do, and now I know it and stuff. So, okay, so this is how it works. There is, okay, I don't know if you can hear me, but this is how it works. The A, okay, let's start with A, the A note. There's A, and then it goes to A sharp, which is the same thing as B flat. And what you're doing when you go from A to A sharp / B flat, it's the same thing. So if they say play a B flat or an A sharp, you play the exact same chord, or like they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same thing. And what you call it when you go from A to to the next note, which would be A, to the next note B, or A sharp and B flat. That's going up a half step. And then the next one would be just a normal B. And yeah, so yeah. Then you go up to a normal B. So you go A sharp / B flat, B. And so from A to B is a whole step. And then the thing is about music is that it has this exception rule thing. I don't know why it works like this, but it does. When it goes from B, there is no such thing as B sharp or C flat, so you just go from B to C, but it's still considered a half step. So A sharp / B flat to half step, and then it's a whole step from A, which is B, and then C, which is just one up one fret, is that's 1 step and a half. I think that's like the right term. It doesn't sound right, 1 step and a half from A. And then you got your C sharp / D flat. That's C sharp / D flat. That sounds okay, yeah. And then there's E. No, crap, sorry. And then there's D. And then you go D sharp / E flat. And then you go E. And then one more exception is E to F. So E to F, half a step up. E to F. And then F to F sharp / G flat. F sharp / G flat to G, half a step up. And then the next one would be G sharp / A flat. It's like a big circle and it goes round and round. And the way that works is that, see, we're basically just up an octave. I'm guessing you already know how octaves work. But yeah, so like this is the same note, but it's just up an octave. And so that's the whole deal with the 12th fret, is that it's 1 octave up from an open string. So now you see my guitar is set up weird. I don't know why it's doing this, but it's basically the guitar itself is messed up, and it's not an exact octave up. Like for some reason the frets are uneven or something. But if you have a good guitar that's set up right, it'll be an octave up. You see, it's close enough to an octave. So yeah, what I want you to do... Oh no, sorry. Let me teach you one more thing that is actually really important. The names of the strings, the notes that they are. So here we go. There's no real like pattern to this. There is, but it's easier to just remember them. So okay, the thickest one is E. The second thickest is A. The third thickest is D. So it's E, A, D. The next one is G. That's a G string. And then B is the second thinnest. And then the thinnest is also an E. So the thickest and the thinnest are 2 octaves different. The octave in between is this. No. Yeah, so. So when you play an E chord, you're playing 3 octaves of the note E, which would be. So yeah. Okay, and so what's interesting about this, which I actually did not learn, because I'm a bit slow, and I should have logically figured this, but I didn't. I knew how to play E and F, but what I did not realize is this interesting fact. The chords have bass notes, so E, how would you hum? Like if you were to say E, how would you hum that chord? Because you know it's consisted of lots of notes, but what one note would you hum? You'd hum because that's the E, and so that's what the bass notes are of each chord. So the F would be an F, and that's how D works. The bass of the D chord is the D string, so it works. And this is a G note here. And you see what's interesting about that is that since this is an F, what would happen if you just moved this exact same formation up just half a step? It would be an F sharp slash G flat. So now just for you to know, a lot of times people don't say G flat. A lot of times they'll just say F sharp, G sharp, etc. But you know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they say G flat. So it's good to know that. So it's F sharp slash G flat, and then what's next is G, and it goes up until you're on the 12th fret again, and you're barring the 12th fret, which is kind of hard to do when you don't have the little cutaway thing. But basically I'm playing an E chord again, because remember the octave up, so yeah, that's how music pretty much works, and you can do that with any chord. So D, and so up half step, which this is kind of hard to do. And like I said, the E is your favorite chord, your best friend, because it's actually really easy to do wherever you are. But D, you know, you have to play a D sharp, you'd have to do this. And I really doubt you can do this stretch here. You know, up here you can kind of do it a little bit easier. But, and what's interesting about that, and this is another thing I did not learn how to do until, you know, many months after I started, is taking that concept of being able to move up the chord formations and being able to play all the variations, as they call them, of every chord. So this is an E, and it's an E-shaped chord. But you can also play an E with the D-shaped chord. So what we're doing is D, and then we're going D sharp, we're taking the bass note, D sharp, and E. And then we're just making an E out of it. See, it's the exact same note. I mean, you know, the notes are like higher, but it is the exact same chord. Now the next one from D, from the D-shaped E chord, is C. Do you see how this works? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bar these strings. Now you see, you may not want to dive into this, but I'm just explaining it to you anyways. You're barring these 3 strings, not the whole thing, just these 3. and then you're doing the little D formation here without the bass note, and you're making the C shape. Do you see how that works? Because it's like the C shape, if you remember the C shape, but you need these open strings here, open strings, as if you're not fretting them, but you actually need to. So, and since this is an E note, normally we'd have to mute the E note because it's not the bass note of what we're playing. But since we're playing an E chord, but in the C formation, no, sorry, it's down here, we can play this E string. So you can basically play all of it. See how that works? And then from the C shape, we go to the A shape, which, okay, this is a big controversial, not controversial, but you know what I mean. It's like, there's many different ways to play this chord. Well, not many, but there's two really main ways, and there's, there's my way of playing it. Okay, this is the normal way of playing it, which most people do, but my hands are kind of big. But what you do is, this is the A shape, by the way, like back here. So you're taking the bass note, which is on the same string, and then you put your middle finger here on the next 2 frets up, on, and so it's basically the A shape. But the one way you can do it, if you have big, strong fingers, is instead of doing one finger on each string, you cover all 3 strings with one finger. So I'm covering, and what my pinky is doing, because apparently not everybody can do this. My mom pretty much almost passed out when she saw that I could do this, is you're bending your pinky backwards. Do you see that? And then this little front part here covers all 3 strings, and you can do that with this finger as well. But I find that when I do it with this finger, it mutes this, the bottom string, so sometimes it does, but most of the time it's a lot just safer for me to do the pinky. But you can do it either way. Or you can do your middle finger, but I think that'd be kind of hard. And you're just covering these 3 fingers and then using your pointer finger to do the bass note. And then what you're doing, the next formation is the G shape. And you can do it like this by covering these 3. This time you have to cover the 3 like this with your pointer finger, and then doing the G shape, so putting the official way kind of formation with the same fingers. But I find it easier to just bar the entire thing. It's not necessary, but it's a lot easier than stretching your finger down here just to cover these. So you just bar the entire thing. And voila, we are at the 12th fret again. So the bass note E is there again. So we're back where we started. So I'm basically doing the E shape, but 12 frets later. I don't even have to bar it because they're the same notes, but they're an octave down from what they should be. You understand? So what you just got to understand is how the chords fit together. It goes from E, and you see the 2 octaves I explained, and then you use that bass note as a bass note for the D. Then you see the little formation of the D here, and you make a C out of it. And then you use the bass note from the C to make the A. See, it's the same thing. Then you do the G shape again. And they're all the same chord. I love music. It's, yeah, you can do that with every chord. You can start with D and then go to the C shape, so it's the C shaped D. It's so awesome. Okay, I have to end this lesson. But yeah, basically there are many variations of playing all the chords. So maybe I'll do one more lesson just for fun. Love you, bye. Come on.